Hey, how you doing? Hope you all are doing great. As you've seen in the thumbnail, in this video, we're going to see what if Naruto was in Family Guy. This is part 1, and before getting into video, I request you to check the author of this fanfic and show some love and support. Name of the story is The Griffin Family Moved to Konoha by RaDiCaLmE. Do check it. All details and description. And if you want next part of this series, please leave a like, share, and consider subscribe. Let's get into the video. Also check out Patreon for uncensored spicy content. Link in description. Watched. It was a usual normal day in Quahog. Well, by usual, I mean Peter was doing something stupid again that would get people hurt. As usual, Dad, just because you got your driver's license taken away again does not mean I'm going to let you ride me to your job. Meg said, come on, it'll be fun. It'll be like a father and son adventure. You mean father and daughter? Peter stared at her for a moment before deciding to fall on top of her. Oh my God, Dad. What are you doing? You have to get up and carry me if you want to make it to work. He explained, before noticing how quiet Meg was becoming. And no sleeping. Slacking is bad. Meanwhile, 2 unseen figures were staring down at the crystal ball. Peter could be seen calmly lying on top his screaming daughter. Or son. They couldn't tell which. You want to get this guy to the Leaf Village? Of course, it will be much easier to take over Konoha with a fat man like him around. The perfect distraction. Okay, but how do we get him there? Figure something out. What? Why me? Because if you don't, you could end up with a kunai up your ass. Get off. Meg cried, managing to crawl from her prison of obesity. Not cool, Dad. Not cool. Meg, don't be such a drama king. Peter called, before heaving a great sigh. I guess I'll be walking to work by myself then. The window at Chris's bedroom shot open. The evil monkey was pointing his finger menacingly at Peter. Hey, you want to go with me to work? Peter called to it. The monkey only stared at him, then flipped him off, then slammed the window shut. Well, I'm off then. And so, the fat man of this tale turned and walked away unknown to what would happen this very day. A crime. Peter continued walking all the way to work, since it was in the city that meant that this journey would take much longer. What made him feel worse was that nobody wanted to help him. My family doesn't even love me. This must be how George Bush felt during Obama's inauguration. Crowds were everywhere, cheering at all the members of Congress. They stopped abruptly as their familiar ex-president came along. Everybody. They frowned at him. Come on. You know you're going to miss me, right? You suck. Come on now. Is that really any way to act to a person who cared for you over 4 years? A glass bottle was thrown at Bush, knocking him onto the streets. Peter stopped walking and looked down to find a kunai lying on the ground. OMG, OMFG. I remember seeing this in those cool ninja weapon shows. He bent down to pick it up, but as soon as he did so, it slid away a few feet. He didn't seem to notice it had a string attached at the handle. Oh my God, it must have magical powers. Even better. He continued to follow it as the weapon raced down a hill and by the nearest Bank of America. It had finally stopped. Hush. Gotcha. You little kunai. Some distance away from him, he did not notice a figure with glasses and gray hair in a low ponytail running towards him and carrying sacks full of money. Robbing a bank to get a fat guy in trouble? Unbelievable. He stopped immediately, noticing Peter. You. The kunai luring technique worked. Do you want to walk with me to work? In response, the boy threw the money in Peter's hands and ran off. Joe and another policeman appeared from nowhere. Look, he has the money. Get him. Oh God. Not another Scooby-Doo chasing scene, Peter said worriedly. The James Bond theme could be heard in the background. Much better. And he was off, running as fast as he could. Joe was rolling past him as fast as he could roll. Her reached out his hands and managed to grab onto the money while rolling alongside. A crime of life never pays, Peter. I just wanted a kunai, Joe. Like when Hades wanted Persephone to go out with him. Persephone was sitting on a rock reading. It was a Greek-like scene with her in robes. Then Hades came to her on his dark, possessed horse. Yo, chick. You mean right now? What? I mean right now, you and I. Oh, no. Come on. You can have a horse. Look, I named this one Mickey. Say hi, Mickey. All will perish and die in their own blood. Burning younglings and eating churros. Persephone stared. Your cutaways won't get you out of this mess, Peter. Joe said. No, but this will. Peter gave a kick at the wheelchair, which toppled over, sending Joe on the ground. Curse you, Griffin. Wee! Peter laughed as he turned a corner. He had been so busy laughing that he didn't realize that he had run right through the wall of Quagmires, who happened to be reading the usual porn. He stopped and turned to him. Quagmire, you gotta help me. Hey, Peter. Walked in on Lewis when she was PMSING? Oh, giggity giggity goo. No, but Joe thinks I robbed some blank, and he's gonna kill me or anyone who tries to help me. You gotta hide me. Sure, Peter, I'll help. Really? 37 minutes later, Peter was sitting in a jail cell. He looked in the corner where sat somebody who looked like Elmo from Sesame Street. So, you Elmo Dash? No, I am Emo Elmo. Emo Elmo. Hi there. Where's the darn Swiftblade? I don't have a Swiftblade. I was thrown in here because the police think I robbed a bank. What about you? I was cutting myself again and was in pain. Ernie saw me, tried to stop me, but I didn't like it at all. I did not like it. Why, Ernie? You just had to make me go past the line, didn't you? WHYYYY? Officer, can I make my phone call now? Really disappointed in you, Peter. Joe said sadly as he took off Peter's handcuffs at the door of his house. Joe, I swear, I didn't rob that bank. Then, what were you doing there at the time? For your information, I happened to find a magical kunai that led me to some guy who looked like Harry Potter. Peter crossed his arms and smiled, as if his story had sounded convincing. See you in court, Joe replied, rolling away. Oh, and tell Lewis she's a skink. Oh yeah? Well, at least my wife hasn't been pregnant for 8 years. That poor baby could be dead by now. But Joe was already gone, and Peter was angry. Plus, he began talking to himself again. This is unbelievable. Now I apparently robbed a bank. Even had to ask my own mom to get me out of there because I couldn't face Lewis. What could get worse? A thud came as a rock suddenly hit the back of his head, and he fell down face flat. A certain Harry Potter-looking ninja came running from behind, holding a bucket of water and a brochure. He threw the brochure on top of the body, splashed some water at him, then vanished. Peter got up, rubbing his head before picking up the brochure and reading it. Konoha, the Hidden Leaf Village, where everyone starts their training as a shinobi Jinin, the Chunin, the Jounin. See the faces of the past 5 Hokages, including our current one, and apply your children at the academy to enroll as a great shinobi. Written to the side in sloppy marker, said a great new place to start a new life. Despite not knowing what a shinobi was, a grin appeared on his face because he knew what that last part meant. He hurried inside excitedly to tell the rest of the family. The figure appeared in the room, seeing his master, panting in exhaustion. Has the deed been done? Asked the master. Yes, and I nearly got beaten for it. Moi. Excellent. No, that is not excellent. Some hooker tried to have her way with me. And do I really look like Harry Potter? Well, at least I don't look like Michael Jackson and Lord Voldemort at the same time. The servant gave a scream as a tongue shot out of the master's mouth, choking and strangling the thief. Throwing the brochure on the couch, he hurried as fast as he could. Peter traveled throughout the house, collecting anything he could to throw in the trunk of the car. Once he had gathered their clothes, food, and other personal junk, it was then time to gather the family. But since it was midnight, they were all asleep. But he was still planning to bring them along, no doubt about that. First, he scooped up Stewie, ignoring his teddy bear and all the drawings of his mother screaming bloody murder. Then he dragged Chris and decided to quickly beat up the evil monkey in his closet for flipping him off earlier. Third was Meg, and Peter was wearing elastic gloves, a gas mask, and an apron, thinking it was all necessary in order to put Meg in the car. He didn't forget to read her diary either. Then he took Brian, but noticed all the pot lying around. Assuming it was candy, Peter decided to eat it, then puke it out, then continued dragging Brian along while sobbing in pain. Last was Lois, which was easy as he carried her to the car. Oh yeah, he especially didn't forget her bras. Silly perv. Lois lay under the blanket, sleeping quietly. But the peacefulness was disrupted as a voice whispered softly in her ear. Lois, want to take a vacation? Sure, whatever. She groaned. We'll talk about it later. Really? Yeah. The thing is, we're nearly there. What? Lois opened her eyes. She was shocked to see she was sitting up in the front seat of the car with Peter at the wheel. The kids with Brian were in the back, still sleeping and in their pajamas. Lois even noticed how all of them were tied up, and they seemed to be driving through the middle of nowhere. Peter, what the hell? Morning, sleepyhead. I stopped by Starbucks and got you some breakfast. The best thing is I didn't eat it for you. Peter, I want to know what's going on. She was cut off as a bagel was stuffed in her mouth. Eat! You don't want to go anorexic like Meg. Lewis only spat out the bagel, roaring in anger. Tell me what you're doing. Relax. I just thought the family could take a vacation. I even packed all the stuff we needed, rented an apartment, got somebody to give us a tour of the place, and signed Chris and Meg to go to some sort of academy or something retarded like that. You did all that in one night and even got through watching High School Musical. Peter was sitting in the living room, watching TV. We're all in this together. Why is everyone so obsessed with this? Hey, who wants to sing again? Must not scream. Somebody shoot me. Lois took a glance at the brochure lying next to her. We're going to a hidden leaf village. Sounds Japanese. Where are we now anyway? I don't know. Followed the directions on the map. Asked a few hitchhikers where to go and forgot to take them with me. But we're getting close. Guess that's why it's called hidden. But why are we all tied up? In case you attempted to escape? Damn. Yawning came from the back of the car, followed by the gasps, then screams. What the deuce is going on, you fat man? And where's Rupert? Sorry, Stewie. Forgot to pack him. Peter shrugged. What? You fat. Unforgivable Snorlax. No Pokemon calling Stewie, Lois said sternly. Your father apparently is taking us on a trip. Could somebody at least get me up? Brian barked, trapped on the floor with the pairs of feet squishing him. I can barely stretch out, and my bubbles bursting. OMG bubbles. Where? Chris cried with excitement. Not cool, Dad. Meg said, I was supposed to go to the mall today. The others stared at her. You know, with my friends, we're like the coolest people in school. Come on. Everyone broke out in laughter. Meg, you jokester, you. Peter said as he wiped a tear away. Minutes had gone by as they continued driving past the forest-like scenery, which was probably why they called Konoha the Leaf Village. Finally, they could see from some mile away an open gateway. Despite the fact that they couldn't see all of the buildings and apartment within, from far away the entire village was surrounded by mountains. Carved in the mountains were 4 faces looking stern. Peter stopped the car, then got out to untie the rest of the family. But as soon as he cut the ropes, big mistake. They all lunged at him like wild animals, tearing his clothes apart and damaging any part of flesh. What the? Stop, not there. A crack came as Stewie dug his foot into Peter's nose. That's for Rupert. You fat Britney Spears. Am I interrupting something? They all turned from the bloodied-up Peter awkwardly at the new voice. A man was standing there wearing a green vest over a black shirt and wore the same colored trousers with blue sandals. His skin was tannish dark, a scar was across his nose, his hair up in a ponytail, and he wore a headband with an odd symbol across it. I'm Irika-sensei. I'm supposed to be giving the Griffin family a brief tour of our village. Sorry? We had a nasty start on the way here, Brian said as he dropped Peter's twisted ankle. Oh my God, there's a snail lying upside down on his forehead. Chris suddenly cried, somebody save it. No, this is the leaf insignia of our village. I'm guessing you're Chris Griffin? I'll be teaching you and your sister at the academy to train you to become a genin. What's a genin? Meg asked. A genin is one of the first steps of being a shinobi. Only when you graduate you can become a genin. And if you even are ready, you can start training to become a chunin, then a jounin. He explained. So, what's a shinobi? Before Irika could answer, a boy came trudging into the scene. He had black hair and dark eyes, and wore a headband like the sensei. He had in a blue t-shirt, white shorts, and other stuff I can't remember. Meg felt an attraction toward this boy. Hey, Irika-sensei. Hello, SSK-kun. What can I do for you? Naruto got himself tied to a tree. How'd he do that? I don't even know, but I need to borrow something sharp. Sigh here. As the sensei reached into his pocket and pulled a blade out, Peter recognized it. Whoa, wait a second. That's a kunai. Yes? Irika said. But only ninjas use that. I know, but that would mean you're a ninja. Indeed. Wait, then you're a ninja? Yes, I am. So is SASK here. Another term for shinobi you Americans might say is ninja. Everyone in this village is a freaking ninja. Most, yeah. Peter stared at him. Luegesped. Brian raised an eyebrow. Meg thought of SASK topless. Chris picked his nose. Stewie, who was about to shoot Lois with a crossbow, lowered it innocently and pretended to look shocked with the rest. I'm home. Giving Irika a hug, he skipped off happily inside of the village. Does he normally do that? Irika asked awkwardly. Did it to Daniel Radcliffe when he gave him a prop from the Harry Potter movies. Brian said, okay, you're all pathetic. SSK groaned as he took the kunai and walked away. Meg frowned at this. OMG, Mom, we're in a train to be ninjas? Chris asked excitedly. I don't know if I'm comfortable with you using a weapon, Chris. Remember the butter knife? Chris was sitting in the front yard holding a butter knife on top of a picnic blanket, a loaf on bread next to him, and a container of butter. He scraped some butter from the container and used one hand to hold the loaf down as if it would run away. He held the knife, and 30 minutes later, Lois came into the scene. Chris, it's time for dinner, holy crap. It hurts, Mommy. Chris wailed, his left arm now missing. Mrs. Griffin, I assure you that we train our young pupils until they're well-trained and ready to fight. Irika said, well, okay, that settles it. From nowhere, Peter appeared out of the blue. Meg, Chris, I'm going to attend this academy with you and become a ninja. Oh God, no. Brian moaned. Peter, don't. Mr. Griffin, I can understand if you want to start training as a ninja, but the academy is for the most youngest children, and I want to be a ninja. I want to be a ninja. He picked Meg up, throwing the screaming girl around as if she were a toy, then began rolling around on the ground childishly. Peter, please stop. Lois begged. I want to be a ninja. I want to be a ninja. Mr. Griffin, please. Irika cried. I'm just saying you'd be the only grown adult, and it'd look silly. I want to be a ninja. I want to be a ninja. Irika-sensei. Clearly he's not a grown adult. Brian said, but, fine. Peter, if you stop complaining, I can take you to Lady Tsunade to see if she'll accept it. Yay! Peter suddenly hopped off and skipped off happily. The others embarrassed as they followed him. This is going to be more fun than when Bowser taught language arts. Chris exclaimed. All children were talking to each other, but stopped as Bowser came in wearing a pair of glasses. All right, you ass-lickers, shut up and look at me. Now, because you all failed in kidnapping Princess Peach and killing Mario, you're going to be listening to me while I read a poem by Edgar Allan Poe. Or else I can get the Goombas to hang you. Aw, what the %$ did I just say? He held up a book and squinted in it. This guy emo or something? Screw this. You all get recess. But we're in middle school. I said recess, damn it. Hooray. A messed up village. Peter came running past the rest of the family, looking excited. Look out, Konoha. Cause here I what the Fuji mountain? He had stopped to survey this town. There were villagers everywhere in odd Japanese clothes related to Irika-sensei and Meg's new crush, SASK. But what was more disturbing was that there were few buildings destroyed and everything was a mess. This isn't how I pictured a ninja village. Where are all the beatings and killings like there should be? Both ninjas dressed in black came walking past the road. They turned and noticed each other. Hey Joe, Simon, how you been? Joe suddenly threw several kunai, landing across Simon's entire body. This was before Simon had thrown a long sword which flew and landed at Joe's chest. They both chuckled. Oh, you joker. They then fell over bleeding. This is the worst birthday ever. It's not even your birthday, you idiot. Brian pointed out as he walked alongside him. I know, I was just trying to make a flapjack reference. Let me guess, you've all been attacked by terrorists and have barely anywhere to live now, but on the streets? Stewie guessed if we wanted to go through this kind of crap, we could have just stayed home. Stewie awoke from his crib with a yawn, before looking out the window to see hundreds of planes flying around the house with familiar neighbors screaming. The baby sighed, looks like another boring day. Pretty much. Irika said, we were attacked a month or so ago by these shinobi from the Hidden Sound Village during our Chunin exams. They were led by Orochimaru. But we've already fixed up most of the village, so it isn't that bad. Are you telling me one man led a bunch of bombers on an attack on a village of ninjas? Well, he's more of a combination of Lord Voldemort and Michael Jackson. Meanwhile, with the mysterious men, why does everyone think that? Damn it, back in Konoha. Interesting, Stewie said with a fascinated expression. Hint, hint, if you've read this story summary. After a while of walking around, they made it towards a large building with a staircase rotating around it towards the top. While walking along it, Irika-sensei was explaining more of the attack. We had had some guests from Suna, the Hidden Sand Village. It was a team of Genin and the Kazekage, who's the strongest and wisest of all shinobi in the village, just like Konoha's Hokage. Buildings started blowing up, and it seemed like Suna's team had betrayed us when they Kazekage attacked the third Hokage. Oh my! RaDiCaLmE. Dearie me. Peter gasped. Goodness gracious. Brian said, Spock for president. They all stared at Chris for a long moment before continuing to listen to Irika's tale. Anyway, some of our proudest shinobi stopped the genin. Woot! Beat down to Suna. No, Mr. Griffin. Go Giants. Brian swiped his foot at Peters, causing the fat man to fall over. So where does Orochimaru fit into all of this? He questioned. Well, the thing is that sometime after the Chunin exams, back in Suna, they found the real Kazekage dead. So Orochimaru had disguised himself as the Kazekage and led the Sand Village to attack us on his orders. So then what happened to Orochimaru if the team of shinobi were stopped? Lois asked. Our old Hokage went and drove him and those other bastards from the Hidden Sound Village out of here. Yay! The family cheered, but ended up dead. Aw, hello? Irika-sensei, came cheery voice as a young woman with short hair dressed in black came skipping over. Good morning, Shizen-san. You are here escort the Griffins to Lady Tsunade? Yes, some. Hello? You must be Peter Cohen. No, it's Peter. Peter Cohen. No, Peter Griffin. Peter Griffin Cohen. No, it's just Peter. Peter-chan? No, it's just Peter. Bogdan? Close enough. They turned a corner, following the rather happy woman as she led them to a door and knocked on it. Come in, Lady Tsunade. I'm here with the Griffins from Quahog, Shizen said as she opened the door and walked through along with the rest of the others. A woman with blonde hair and brown eyes sat at a desk. Nice to meet you. Holy crap, are those things real? Peter suddenly cried, pointing his finger at the Tsunade's breasts. Peter, Rui said, I'll let it slide this time. The Hokage said, her smile changing to a scowl. But anyhow, Shizen will be handing you the map of the village. Where your apartment is, the academy, yada yada. Speaking of academy, I understand you train kids to become ninjas? Said Peter, who was expected to ask such a question. Indeed, I see how your kids are at a Chunin/Jounin age, but it's never too late for them to enter the academy. Does this offer stand for men over 40? What? Peter, I'd be more concerned for you than for Meg and Chris. Brian chuckled. Wait, for those two? What about me? Stewie complained. Stewie, you're too young to be killing terrorists. Lois said. You can do that when you're at Chris's age. What the hell? You vile woman. I'm not waiting until I become as brainless as Fat Man JR. Well, aren't you a cute little child? Tsunade smiled through gritted teeth. I highly suggest you shut your mouth, shove your head in a tub of ice, because a head that size has obviously screwed up your brain and put you into the illusion that you're some grown man. Touché. Anyway, Peter, given your age and obesity, I don't think of you as under the condition of being a ninja. Before the Hokage could react, Peter had lunged his body at her desk, where he grabbed onto the woman's cloak while wailing. Please, let me be a ninja. I've always wanted to be a ninja. I want to stab people, then speak Japanese and flip someone off like they do in Japan without getting in trouble. Are you even sure you want to actually be a ninja? Lois questioned him. Yes, I want to. I've never been more sure than when I decided I'd buy Star Trek 09. Peter was sitting in the front row of the movie theaters with Brian, watching the screen. It was 20 minutes into the movie, and he saw a boy stand up from the ground staring at the police officer. State your name. My name is James Tiberius Kirk. Peter bent over whispering to Brian. You know we're buying this. I'll do anything. Tsunade stared at Peter for a long moment before a smirk came on her face. Anything? Later that night, Peter was lying on a bed in a seductive pose, only wearing his underwear. Oh, Tsunade, I'm ready. The door from the bathroom opened, and a figure came out. Peter, Shizen, what the hell? Laughed Tsunade, who was sitting at the windowsill. Oh, come on. Peter whined as Shizen clung onto his arm. That's what you get for talking about my twins. The woman cackled. Everyone hurry up. You'll be late for Ninja Academy. Lois called from the tiny kitchen downstairs. It was a few days later since they had visited Lady Tsunade, and Peter had reluctantly done his deed in order to join in becoming a ninja. Their apartment was grouped with many others, almost like a motel, except there was more than one room. Meg came walking down the stairs, but Chris, some feet behind, had tripped and bumped into her. Both were tumbling down before landing at the bottom. I tripped down the stairs and crushed Meg, a new record. Chris cheered as he shot up, raising his fists in victory. Get a Fatas! A suffocating Meg roared, pushing him off. Chris, you're becoming a ninja. You have to watch where you're going. Lois said as she helped Meg up. But Mom, how can I succeed in life if I can't make any mistakes and learn from them. Chris Griffin, did you just say something that made sense? Sure did. Where'd you even get that from? Asked Brian, who had been drinking coffee at the table. Dr. Phil, Dad was watching it with me. A crash came from behind as a bathtub came crashing through the ceiling and behind the family. Peter's sitting inside of it. Now I can truly become ninja. Laughing maniacally, he somehow managed to put his feet through the tub's bottom and run through the door wearing the tub around him. Chris ran after him, singing the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song, and Meg grudgingly followed. This is going to be worse than Hannah Montana's last concert. Crowds filled with kids were cheering as Hannah Montana came out on stage. Hey y'all, you ready to rock? The crowds responded with more cheering. All right, but before we do, I need to tell you something. I'm not really Hannah Montana or Miley Cyrus. She ripped off her outfit, revealing a new face. Alan Rickman. Brian, I need to drop the others off at school, then do some errands. Lois said as she grabbed her purse from the counter and headed towards the destroyed door. Could you watch Stewie while I'm gone? Don't worry, Lois. I'll watch him, thanks. Remember that he doesn't color with Sharpie markers. He's been waking up in the middle of the night, doing some weird stuff. Lois awoke with a yawn and got out of bed. As she came by Stewie's bathroom, an eerie sound was heard. She opened the door halfway to see Stewie and Rupert over a piece of paper. His eyes were bloodshot. Why, you know, Rupert, I don't see why people shouldn't sniff these. They're just so good. Rupert, I never realized how much you look like Orlando Bloom. I love you, Orlando Bloom. I'm way sexier than Keira Knightley. Once Lois had left with the others, Brian finished up his coffee and went upstairs into Stewie's room. The 1-year-old was kneeling in front of his suitcase, repacking it and talking to himself. All right, everything here. Diapers, clothes, guns, grenades, swords, my signed autograph from Ashley Tisdale, One Piece manga, and the Sharpies. He swiped one of them, threw off the cap, and took a great whiff. I am so high. Stewie, what are you doing? Da! The boy gave a scream as he jerked up, the Sharpa flying from his hand and out the window. Ow! My eye. I think it's bleeding, Dash. Smells good. B. Byron, I'm not doing anything here. W, what are you doing? Came to check on you. Lois went to drop the others off at Ninja Academy. And why are you repacking? We just got here. I was just looking to see if the fat man might have placed Rupert in the suitcase. Why, yep, W wasn't thinking of going to pick him up from Quahog, then find the base of Orochimaru to join him as partners. What the hell? Damn it. Curse you, authoress, for making me give away out loud my plan. Hey, it's in the script. You put that in, then I will tell everyone your weakness of running out of pork fried rice. Bastard. Stewie, I can understand if you want to get back a dumb toy. But joining terrorists? A dog like you who licks Uranus all day wouldn't understand. Are you talking about the planet? Or just get out of my way. If the only way I can rid the world of retarded people like you is by joining this man, then I will. The only person you want to kill is Lois, and joining some evil villain to finish a family member off is ridiculous. Meanwhile, SASK was quietly walking along the road past the buildings. He stopped to contemplate life. I wonder if by joining someone powerful like Orochimaru could help me destroy Itachi. Nah, sorry Stewie, but I'm not letting you leave. Brian stated, crossing his arms. Suddenly, a large honking noise from outside quickly distracted him. Both looked out the window to see a mini truck driving nearby, carrying the mail. The dog's instincts kicked in. Rar, 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 rar. He flew out the window, crashing into the trash can, which fell over. He then rocketed out of it and ran off barking and chasing the truck. Stewie was dumbstruck by this. Victory is mine. He grabbed his bag and prepared to run away when he noticed one of his Sharpies lying on the floor. He quickly smelled it, then ran off. Brian was lying outside of the truck, half of it having crashed into a garage in the alleyway. Letters and packages were lying everywhere, the pet tearing them to pieces. Oh my God, this is so good. He stopped with a gasp, realizing what had happened. Stewie. Lois is going to be more angrier than that time Peter was tricked at Burger King. We stopped selling the Whopper for one day to see what would happen. Peter came walking into BK towards the man at the counter. Hi there. I'll have a large Coke, medium French fries, and a regular Whopper. Sorry, sir. We no longer sell our Whoppers. What do you mean you don't have any Whoppers? I came here for lunch yesterday, and they had it. We just don't have any. Sorry, sir. How do you not have any? Of course you do. Just go to the freaking back of the place and start making them. I'm sorry, but we have no Whoppers. Do you need to see the boss? Give me a freaking whopper now. I can take you to see the boss. From nowhere, Peter held up a rifle and fired it at the worker, causing him to collapse. This was before a man dressed as the Burger King came running in. Hey man, you just fell for our whopper freak-out prank. Really? Oh wow, I would have never guessed. Peter exclaimed as he dropped the gun. But it's alright, we just wanted to. Is that guy alive? Crap, if I can pick up the pace, then maybe I'll catch up with him. Brian said as he began running back towards the apartment when something hard had knocked him over onto the ground. He looked up weakly to see a pup running away. It was a bit smaller than him, but looked a bit identical and was screaming. He's crazy, man, crazy. Get that kid away from me. What kid? There you are? Akamaru. A voice came from behind. The dog turned around to see a boy with a hood and fangs. Are you a vampire or something? Hi, you joker. You must have bumped your head or something when you ran off like that before I could get the doctor to fix you. What? You sick freak. Why would you do such a thing? Hey, you can even talk too. But anyway, we better get back to Hinata and Shino before Sensei gets back. Whoa, what the hell are you doing? He gave a cry as he was picked up by his collar and carried off. Quit it. I have to save a possessed baby who's going to be killed by some Michael Jackson/Voldemort. Meanwhile, the thief was staring down at the crystal ball. It seems that the baby has gone off somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where, didn't hear. But with him and the kidnapped dog out of the picture, it should be easier to take over the village. Oh yeah, and I think they called you the usual combination of Michael Jackson and Lord Voldemort. Are you even listening to me? He turned to face his master, who was banging his head on the wall, repeatedly grunting. Why does everyone think that dash? The great cutaway of man's time, right outside near a swing set. Lois parked the car there for the others to leave. Everyone opened the doors except for their driver and got out leaving. Bye kids, have a fun day at Ninja Academy. Lois waved at them. Bye mommy, see you mom. Bye mom. Peter, I'm not your mother. No, but you're a sexy mom. He purred. Haha, you called your mom sexy. Laughed a random boy with spiky hair and green goggles. Ha, you look high. Peter counterattacked at him. What? The boy wailed as he ran off. After Lois had left, Peter, Meg, and Chris walked with each other inside to the academy. They stopped at the classroom where they would be with the other children and walked inside to where Irika was sitting at a desk. Chris, Meg. Peter? That's right. Irika-sensei. Wow. I didn't expect you to actually make it. Like that time Tsunade thought she could survive a day without drinking. Irika came walking into Tsunade's office with a stack of papers. Lady Tsunade, I need to discuss with you some grades from the Ninja Academy. Lady Tsunade? He looked up, unable to see her at her desk. Bending down, Irika peeked around to see she was crouching underneath the desk, gasping for air, her face pale. Tsunade-san. The hamsters squeak. I is T that YYOU, Jesse McCartney. WY. I just had to make that bet with Jiraiya Y. The door opened as Shizen came in holding a tray with food. Oh, Tsunade-sama. Your lunch is ready HHHH. Before the poor girl could react, she was picked up and thrown out the window by the deranged Hokage. Anyway, I have 2 seats in the second row over there for Chris and Meg. As for you, Peter, there's an empty seat right next to Konohamaru. While both children sat at their assigned seats, Peter went over in the row in front of him. He glanced at the small boy next to him, who was giving him an intense glare. Aren't you that kid from the parking lot? You called me high. Not my fault your eyes are freaky. Yeah, you should see the Hyuga clan. All right, settle down, everyone. Irika called. We have a few new students. Irika-sensei. Yes, Konohamaru. Why are our new students so old? Especially Fatty here. I wouldn't be the one making fun of looks, Drugga. Peter scoffed. I'm not high. Peter, no calling Konohamaru high. But WHY. He whined. Cause I'm special. The boy announced proudly. The third Hokage was my grandpa, and he was the best. Yeah, and what happened to him? Moegi snickered nearby. Here stood Orochimaru was standing face to face with the third, lecturing him. You're a fool, for I will take over your precious village. Kill anyone I can, finish you, and ZZZ. The hell? Wake up. Zazzle frazzle. I'm sorry, where was I? You said you were going to take my soul? Oh yeah, give it here. Enough cutaways. An annoyed Irika shouted. As I was saying, these are our new students. So, what if they're older than all of you? They'll be training with you all until they graduate and are put in groups with you. Then you'll be doing life-threatening missions. The class said sadly, wanting to be killing rogue ninjas. Whoa, wait a sec. Peter interrupted. What do you mean then we'll be in life-threatening missions? When do we get to start being ninjas anyway? When you graduate from the academy, which takes years. Eirik has stated, becoming annoyed with these questions. WTF? I am not waiting years to kick terrorists ASSTOCKS. I want to be a ninja now. If you think you can become a shinobi now, then you're as crazy as the Joker. Why? So, serious? I think that was the most shortest cutaway of all time in the history of cutaways. All right, Peter. Eirik sighed, before staring at his older students solemnly. If you can make a better cutaway than mine, I will let you and maybe even Chris and Meg graduate. The students gasped. You serious? Any kick-ass cutaway we consider a well-done jinjutsu. All right then. And so Peter stood there, thinking it all up in 1 minute. Then, with an evil, horrifying grin came across his face. He turned to the class. You know what was more awesome than this? When my friends and I made our own trailer version of The Dark Knight. Oh no, Eirik said, eyes wide at what he had done. Oh yeah, italic real life. Once school had ended, Meg and Chris walked out, and on the way back to the apartment. Well, Meg, now that we've graduated, what do you want to do? Chris, you don't actually think we graduated? All Dad did was show everyone the trailer to our crappy remake of that movie. You only think it stunk because you had no part in it at all. So what? More people would have watched it if you gave me an actual role. I mean, of course. Let's not put Meg in the movie. We can just save her the best for last. For no reason whatsoever, she turned and ran off laughing in a crazy maniacal way. You all know I'm better than you. Okay. While Meg was off in her crazy state, a young girl a year younger than Chris was hiding behind a tree watching him. She had short raven black hair and pale gray eyes. This, of course, was the Byakugan, which was a trait of her clan. Her face was beet red. Is. The new villager that was the first to graduate in one day. But why am I feeling so weird? I love Naruto-kun. This can't be right. But what do I say? I don't even think I can look at him. She gave a gulp of breath and stood tall. I can do it. I know I can make a first good impression. Right when the genin was about to take a step forward, she could feel movement behind. She turned around to see Chris. Hi there. Aw. An Eskimo. While running away screaming, he accidentally whacked the girl on the head with his arm, knocking her onto the ground. It was several seconds later after Chris left the scene that a newcomer came in. His face was covered by sunglasses and his high-neck collar from his jacket. He looked down at his dazed companion, who had been lying there blushing with her eyes open. Het touched me. She breathed. Even though I was nearly given head trauma and or concussion, he still touched me. Hinata, your head seems to be gushing blood. She sat up and rubbed the side of her head that had been smacked. Apparently, there indeed was blood. Hey guys! Entering the scene came another boy. Kiba, you were late. Kurenai-sensei has sent us to look for you. Sorry, Shino. Akamaru just ran off while we were at the vet. Kiba was cut off as his jacket bursted open, and a familiar dog, we know, screamed. Dear God, somebody get me out of here. Brian's voice became muffled as Kiba tried to shove him back in, covering his mouth. Chilix, Akamaru. I can't breath. I'm suffocating. With another forceful shove, poor Brian was back in the jacket, Kiba zippering it up in case his dog tried to escape again. Shino gave him an odd look. Kiba, was your dog just screaming? Sure was. I've no idea what happened, but it's so cool. Though he seems to be more jumpy than usual. If I am guessing correctly, I would say that you've gone and scared the pup at the thought of losing his manhood. You think so? When you say it like that, it sounds more disturbing than that fact about one of those Huns from Milan. Shouldn't you jump down from the tree within in the forest, landing front of the other Huns? He held up a small doll with black hair. Do you know what this is? He threw the doll to one of the Huns who observed it. It appears to be a Polly Pocket. Mine. The creeper Hun with the bow and arrow jumped at his companion, teared his head off with his own teeth, and ran off in the corner with his doll. Crap, Hinata, are you bleeding? Kiba cried from out of the blue, happening to just notice this. And no, it's fine, she said shyly, hiding the bruise from where she had been struck. Your entire forehead is covered within blood. Shino pointed out. A gasp of air erupted as Brian's head popped out from the hood on top of Kiba's head. What is wrong with you? Do I look like your dog? Hey, maybe Akamaru can lick it off, Kiba exclaimed. Reaching up, he pulled Brian out and held his face close to the alarmed Hinata. I'm not licking that. No freaking way. Akamaru, don't act like a jerk in front of her. It's rude. Just like when Simba stole his own father's wallet. A young Simba came crawling down the cliff carefully. He reached his father, who was lying still and silent, having fallen off a cliff and being trampled by hundreds of animals. He gave him a nudge with his nose. "Dad, Dad, wake up!" He gave him another nudge, but it was harsher. At this one, something peeked out from under Mufasa's paw. Curious, Simba pulled it out to see it was a wallet. He stared inside of it. $300? WOHO. I'm gonna get me and we, laughing with joy, picked up the wallet with his mouth and ran off. For the billionth time, I am not Yurdio. Where have you all been? Walking right next to Hinata was a tall woman with dark hair, who was guessed to be this Kurenai-sensei. Brian stared at her, or more specifically, her appearance. Just like that, he was licking off the blood. We should be entering Madagascar in a few minutes. Please stay in your seat for a smooth landing when it comes, or else you will get blown off the plane and you will die. Thank you for riding You Suck, IROC flights. Blast, I'm on the wrong flight, Stewie said in disbelief as he sat in his seat impatiently on the plane. He quickly took out the wallet he had stolen from Peter and looked through it. I won't have enough money to simply stop at Kenya, then to Hershey Park and Quahog to find that stupid snake man. Aw, and this would have been a good time to go to the chocolate factory if I had more money. Just like I pictured it. The four children attempted to run through the door for their life, but Willie had it closed shut on him. "Let us out, freak!" One of them cried. "Let us out, freak!" The other one repeated, "Oh no, I can't let you out." Yes you can, yes you can. No, you see, you're all mine now." Music could be heard. Dozens of Oompa Loompas came marching in to take the children for hostage. Willie held up a microphone. "Listen, chocolate lovers, 'cause this is it. The beat Stewie's giving his melee kiss." Jumping from nowhere appeared Stewie in a similar outfit, who had grabbed the mic from Willie. "Stewie Lycus definition makes them boys go loco. They want my treasure, so they get their pleasures from my photo. You could see me, you can't squeeze me. I ain't easy, I ain't sleazy, I got reasons why I tease, and boys just come and go like seasons. For Gallicus, so delicus, but I ain't promiscuous. And if you was suspicious, all that S***T is fictitious. I blow kisses, mwah, that puts them boys on rock. And they be lining down the block just to watch what I got. So delicious, it's hot, so delicious. I put them boys on rock. So delicious, they want a taste of what I got. I'm Stewilicious, tiki tasty. Getting up from the seat, he made his way over to a flight attendant. "Excuse me, do you know where we are at the moment?" "We should be over Kenya at the moment." "Thanks, hooker." Before she could react, he pulled out a gun and grabbed her by the ear while pointing it at her throat. Gasps came from everyone. "All right, nobody move and throw me all your money. Come on." Panicked, all passengers tossed coins, dollars, and jewelry into a small pile in front of the bloodthirsty baby. Still clutching the screaming woman's hair, he took off his bag and scooped up all the merchandise inside. He paused his counting, noticing something. "All right, who here wrote a check for $23? A small portly man raised his hand. "Come on, fatty. Don't try and rip me off." But I only have credit cards right now." "Then give me your credit card, duh." But a gunshot came as he decided to shoot at the empty seat next to the man. "Give me your credit card, darn it." With a whimpering noise, he tossed the card towards Stewie, who placed it in his bag as so. Throwing aside the flight attendant, he made his way over to the door and kicked it open, causing the rest to clutch onto their seats as the wind gushed in. "Gentlemen, ladies, douches." He jumped out. The wind swirled past the 1-year-old as he dropped millions of feet and towards the ground. "See you later, suckers." While laughing maniacally, he began pulling at the back of his bag. He paused, realizing that there was no string on his bag that would let out a parachute. Stewie then looked down at the faces of a million trees, part of a jungle. Down in the jungle. I beat you, Schlullet. Humba, you cheater. You've never even played Super Smash Brawl before." An older Simba complained as the two sat in front of the TV with their Wii controllers in hand. "Doesn't matter, 'cause I beat you anyway. Bah-ha-ha." As the hog continued laughing, Simba whispered to Timon, who came in with more booze. "Is he all right?" I slipped some crack in his drink for a laugh. He snickered. "Woot, it sure is getting cold in here. Warm me up." "It's 89 degrees," Simba said. At that moment, Stewie came flying in, landing face flat onto the Wii, crushing it to smithereens. Several horrified stares were earned for this, as young Stewie rubbed his head. The deuce just happened. You little hashtag dollar hashtag. Hashtag dollar percent and percent dollar happy face taco. Hashtag dollar percent and asterisk. Carrot and. The hog shrieked. I'll kill you. Aw. Getting up, Stewie ran off screaming for his life as the drug Pumba chased him down. No, Simba cried, sobbing on the remains of their beloved console. Why? I was so close. How were we even able to afford a Wii in the first place? Timon questioned him. No reason. So I have indeed introduced more characters from Naruto. I plan to show most of them. Did ya expect the Hinata/Chris? When watching The Lion King back in 6th grade, my friends and I made a joke that Simba stole his dad's wallet after he died XD. I also joked with my friend, when watching Mulan, that the doll they found in that scene was a Polly Pocket. The Fergallicus/Willy Wonka thing is based off a scene from Epic Movie. After the long, restless, and stupid day at the bar he had found, Peter drunkenly made his way back to the apartment, Irika's headband tied around his head. Instead of opening the door with his hand, or walking through the hole in it he had made this morning, he misunderstood the closed window for the entrance and jumped through it, landing sprawled on the kitchen table where the family sat. It gave in with a crunch as its legs broke. Hey family, what's going on? Oh Peter, thank God you're home, Lois cried, helping him off the now destroyed table. Stewie wrote a letter saying that he ran away, and I haven't been able to find Brian anywhere. How can he write? He's only one. Meg said he was most best at writing in his class. Like I said, he's only one. Sudap Dafithioka. Peter suddenly shrieked, punching Meg across the face, who fell over onto the floor. You could have had a V8. Peter, the kids are also telling me that you got them graduating? Sure did, hon. A loud crunch echoed as Lois had punched Peter across the face, before grabbing him by the arm and throwing him at the kitchen table where he landed on his elbow. He clutched it in pain. A-H. SSSS. Ah. SSSS. Ah. SSSSS. ISSSS. Ah. SSSSSS. Ah. SSSS. Ah. SSSSSS. Ah. SSSSSS. Ah. SSSS. Ah. SSSSS. Ah. SSSSSS. Ah. SSSS. What the hell is wrong with you, you idiot? Well, you broke my dose and my elbow is broken so. Beside that, what gave you the idea that our kids are ready to be fighting others? Hasn't it occurred to anyone that they just don't go and make you a ninja HH? Meg screamed as a paintball shot her from nowhere, causing the girl to fly out the window. Think before you speak, cried Chris, who held the gun. I'm thinking Arby's. Peter cheered, raising his fists in the air. I'm thinking you're an idiot. Lois spat. I don't want our children to be in danger. Calm down, I need to catch some Z's, then I'll fix this in the morning, he said as he walked toward the staircase, which was blocked by his wife. Oh no, you are heading straight back to the academy to apologize for this. Do not be a fool. Like that lady from the Tampax Pearl commercials, he cried drunkenly. Knocking came on the door. A young woman opened it to see a tiny lady holding a pink box. Mother Nature? Why are you here? Go away. But I'm here with your monthly gift. You should be worried about leaking. I'm covered. With new Tampax pearls, I won't need to worry about leakage for at least 8 hours every night. The mother gave this woman a long, intense glare. Then from nowhere, she pulled out a rifle and began firing it in different directions. God, my spleen! The woman screamed as she toppled over, blood spewing from her stomach. Why, Mother Nature, why? Huh? Don't have enough tampons to absorb all that. Now do ya? I always win. If anyone's the idiot, it's you. You should still be there, and you are also to give back that headband. But I don't wanna. Now, Peter, no. He crossed his arms childishly. I ain't going out there. And you? 2 seconds later outside. Can't make. Son of a. To-do list. Ixvo Sensei. X2. Vandalize Walmart. 3. Eat Edichuraka ramen with Irika Sensei. 4. Go home. 5. Grab hot dog and hooker in Grand Theft Auto 4. Throwing the list aside, the young boy in the orange jumpsuit threw open the curtains of the tiny restaurant and entered in. Hey, old man, you're late. Naruto. From nowhere, he could feel a bat smack him at the side of the face. Ack! Young Naruto gave a scream as he clutched the back of his head. You crazy old man. Why'd you go and hit me from nowhere? Irika stopped by to pay for your usual order since he had some busyness to do, And that was 2 hours ago. 2 hours. I was training with HEY. Give me that back. Tucci paid him attention as he swiped the to-do list from him. The old man observed it for a long moment before looking down at the boy. You were vandalizing Walmart. Believe it. It's better than sitting at home and watching TV sequels to movies. Back pain. Naruto groaned as he sat at the small kitchen table, opening up a package of ramen. Maybe watching TV will help. Grabbing a nearby remote, he turned on a tiny TV on the kitchen counter. We now return to Home Alone 4. Let me guess, they replaced the kid again? As the movie played, Naruto squinted at the screen. Why are all of these people named after the original Home Alone characters? Since when did they divorce? Since when did he have a girlfriend? What happened to that other partner? WTF. Horrified, he took out several shuriken and threw them at the screen before grabbing the TV and throwing it out the window. Just sit down and eat the food. Okay. Being his usual positive self, he sat down on a stool in front of his bowl, grabbed a pair of chopsticks, and Father. All looks returned to Tucci's daughter, who came running in from the back of the restaurant. What is it, I am? He asked. INT to the back. As some crazy man. Drunk. Naked. With a gasp, she fainted. I am. Wouldn't be surprised if it was that perverted old sage. Naruto grumbled, before a new, unrecognizable face appeared. From behind the bar appeared a nude Peter, who had gone and drunk several more booze than intended from the bar he had been stopping by on the way to the academy. Luckily, his private parts couldn't be seen. Why? Because his fatness covers it up for censor-related reasons. Hey, has anyone seen my pants? My eyes! Tucci cried. Dear God! Naruto screamed as he looked away in horror. How do you lose your pants? Like how that guy from A Knight's Tale loses his. The background is medieval-like, and a naked Peter is inside with a bunch of gamblers and the knight known as William. Heath Ledger. You were never robbed? Were you? The knight asked of him. Look, I have a gambling problem. How much does he owe you? William questioned one of the gamblers. 10 gold florins. You make he get. What cried as he jumped in from nowhere, trapping Peter in a headlock and pounding his head. Ow! OWWW. What? Let him go. Roland yelled, throwing him off from where Peter lay. AH. SSSS. Ah. SSSS. Ah. SSSSS. First off, you shouldn't even be in the back of the restaurant. Tucci said. Second, you'll go and scare away all my customers. Well, why know what are? Crabs? Peter said as he began poking the old man's chest. I'd go away if I could, but my wife locked me out till morning, and no one was there at that academy to open the door, so there. Why would you need to go to the academy? Naruto asked, cautious not to face the drunk slash. I done even remember. I was too busy drinking that I lost all my brain cells. And since I don't have anywhere to stay, I thought I'd be fine if I slept back deer and stuff. That's terrible. Not as terrible as when the Avatar froze himself into an iceberg that the Titanic crashed into. Would you excuse us for a moment? Tucci suddenly asked as he pulled Naruto aside where they both stepped back far away. All right, listen, Naruto, he whispered. I can't have a guy like that here for long, as much as I'd like to offer him some hospitality. Sure you do. Shut up. So, I need you to take him back to your place where he can crash in for the night. What? He shouted in no way. I'm not having him at my place. I didn't even get to start my meal. I'll put it in a doggy bag. But there are children in Africa starving. Curse you. But pulling a bag from nowhere, he grabbed the dish of ramen and poured it into the bag that was then given to the genin. Too late, now go. Push forward. He turned to Peter, who was swaying slightly. Listen, Robin Williams. Robin Williams. Since Wolf Ferrell, I thought you said your name was Robin Williams? Leonardo DiCaprio. He just doesn't know what he's saying. Whispered Tucci from behind. Adam Sandler. Quiet. Anyway, you have no place to stay. I guess you could sleep somewhere at my place only tonight. Dakota Fanning. Think that means yes, said old man. Taylor Lautner. See you two later. Both Peter and Naruto were thrown out. The old man sighed in relief. We don't even have European medieval gambling places around here. Well, this is just super. Naruto groaned. They would have been home already by now if Peter was so heavy to drag by his arms. I'm forced to bring home a naked fat ass. And worst of all is my bag's leaking. You want to know what else is leaking? Oh, no. The blonde screamed, abruptly dropping the arms. This is taking too long. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Several pops sounded as a couple Narutos appeared, helping drag along the drunk man. Whoa! I must be more than drunk now. Peter gasped. I must be super drunk. You don't even know what a jutsu is, and you were planning on visiting a ninja academy tonight? Naruto asked. It was only then that Peter noticed his helper had a Konoha headband tied around his head. OMG, you're a ninja. Sure am, he said proudly, and the best one around. A sudden gasp came. Wait, I remember now why I had to go to the academy. He cried dramatically. What? Why? I have to puke. You what? I have to puke. Right now. But you were going to tell Dash? Now. Now. Peter screamed as he swung his arms in different directions therefore, hitting the clones and making them vanish. All right, calm down, Naruto said. Here's where I live. Turned out that they had conveniently made it to where he lived. Taking out his keys, he turned it into the keyhole and pulled it out. Opening the door, they were met with the usual mess in Naruto's kitchen, but an alien sitting on the table. Hola. Mesa stick. Not again. Naruto groaned, dropping Peter, who fell face flat. He ran over and swat his hands at the creature, who jumped out the window. Go get your own movie. Sorry about that. Anyway, you said you had to puke in the toilet, Dash? He turned around. EW. Bad Robin Williams. That's disgusting. The rest of the night, Naruto was cleaning up Peter's mess, which is something he never does. He had given Peter some dirty bed sheets he had found in his overflowing laundry basket, which expectedly was worn as a toga. 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 Careful. Too late. Before Naruto could mop up the vomit, his temporary idiotic roommate slipped on it and fell over. At the sight of what he landed on, more vomit came to be. When he had gotten Peter new bed sheets and some water for the hangover he would be having, Naruto was finally able to clean up the mess. All right, now that that's all gone, I'll show you where you'll be sleeping. A loud snore came in response. Naruto turned around to see that he was already lying face flat on the kitchen table, hugging onto his cups of ramen. With a snap, the legs broke down. Screw it. Grabbing a nearby pair of chopsticks, he headed over to where his untouched dinner was on the table. As he picked it up, he noticed something fall out of Peter's hand that he had been holding the entire time. A ninja headband. No wonder he was trying to get to the academy. The ninja sat near an open window on the floor, eating his food. He stared at Peter for a moment, then shrugged it off, not realizing this fat man would change his life. I was in a rush to finish this chapter, so sorry if it's a bit shortish, but finally I got it done. This is serious. Hello? Irika called. He knocked on the door again, still clutching his packet of papers. Lady Tsunade? Are you in there, Dash? No. Before the teacher could react, he was suddenly pushed onto the ground by a panting Shizen. Ow! Shizen, what is the matter with you? I'm so sorry, but I can't have anyone making a noise above a whisper now, she said as she pulled Irika up by his hand. Tsunade-sama has been drinking too much tonight. What does that have to do with not making any noise? Every time someone makes a loud noise when she's drunk, she confuses it with Kim, wild music, and starts singing along. Shizen opened the door slowly and peeked in. She could see the lump of the Hokage's head resting on her desk. Lady Tsunade? Lady Tsunade, are you awake? The woman continued to opening the door, which gave a loud, sudden creak. The head lifted up, looking out a dirty old window. Down below, the cars in the city go rushing. BYYYYY. I sit here alone, and I wonder WHYYYYYYYYY. She hopped up, holding a guitar and playing it. Friday night, and everyone's moving. I can feel the heat, but it's shooting heading downwind. I search for the beat in this dirty town, eh? She began smacking her desk with the guitar, setting it aflame. Downtown the young ones are going. Downtown the young ones are grew a wing. Shizen-san, you just screamed a few seconds ago and pushed me to the floor, which made a pretty loud noise. Don't you think she would have heard that? Oh, you're right. Holy, the wall next to the door was blasted down. Tsunade stood there with a flaming guitar. We're the kids of America. Whoa, we're the kids of America. Whoa, everybody live for the music. GOROUND dash. Lady Tsunade. What? She shrieked as she tossed the burning guitar at a nearby courier ninja. AGHH, my brainus. He cried as he ran around screaming with flames coming from his head. Dear Lord. Shizen gasped. Quick, Squirtle. Water gun. A Squirtle came running from a nearby closet, spurting water at the screaming Neen. Oh, Good friggin' job, Irika. You interrupt my singing and kill my Neen. I think he's still breathing. You told me to come and give you the reports for the Griffin's first day in the academy. Irika said, looking annoyed. I did? Yes. Don't you remember? It was earlier that day, and a team of Jonin were in Tsunade's office. All right, you are dismissed. Hi, they said, swiftly vanishing. As soon as they were gone, Tsunade gave a quick grin and reached from underneath her desk, pulling out a case of lipstick. Knocking came on the door. Tsunade-sama, it's me, Irika. You wish to ask me of something? Yes. You know of the Griffins attending today? She called, pulling out a photo of Zac Efron. Yes, I do, he said. Tsunade then began smearing the lipstick all over the face of Zac. The lips, the eyelashes, the hair. I want you to, She then pulled out a lighter. Report here at exactly midnight to tell me of the progress that they will make today. Midnight? Why so late? This is something top secret. She yanked several sticks of dynamite from a nearby dresser out. And before you were to come, I need you to grab a parcel. Then held from underneath the desk a bow. At that dango shop near outside of the village I showed you a week ago. Run there as soon as you get off from work and tell the owner of the shop, and a bag of metal-made arrows from the side, that you have come under my order to collect said special parcel. She's been keeping it hidden there. Thing is, I was supposed to be somewhere tonight. You can do your bonding time with Naruto any other night, she said sternly as she opened a massive can of oil she had taken out and poured it all over one of the arrows that would be placed within its bow. Yes. Irika sighed, disappointed. Very well, Tsunade said as she then rolled the ruined photo into a ball. You may leave now. Footsteps could be heard that faded away. The Hokage quickly ran up to the door and opened it a crack, looking to see that he had left. Coming back to the desk, she lit her photo on fire, threw it out the window, then pointed the oil-coated arrow at it before unleashing it. Kablum! A fiery explosion of death sounded. Windows shattered to pieces, and flames teared through rooftops. That's what High School Musical deserves when they decide to mess with me and the good-natured culture of classical musicals. That was you? Tsunade-sama, people could have been killed. Shizen gasped. Squirtle? Yeah, either way this village is gonna die due to the state of things. The old woman shrugged. The state of things? Never mind. Irika, pass me the item. Reaching into his pocket, he pulled out a small item wrapped in newspaper and passed it to Tsunade. Was there any trouble from picking this up? Well, the owner of the dango shop sucked at pronouncing. What do you mean? An old lady opened the door of the storage area to her dango shop, where Irika was waiting patiently inside. So you say you were acquainted with Lady Tsunade then? Yes. I've come in her place to pick up a parcel she speaks of. All right then, let me check your name, she said, taking out a small notepad. You see, I can become very forgetful and unorganized at such an old age, so I have those who are on special business, such as your Hokage, write down names so I can then check them off. Well, that's good. Let's see. She zoomed her eyes over one particular page and then stopped at his name. She suddenly had a fit of laughter, and the Jonin frowned. Is something wrong? Oh, nothing. I just, didn't know your name was Erika. You're pronouncing it wrong. He frowned. Oh, am I? Erika? Aha, yes. It's Irika. Yerrocuh. Oh, very well. Then I apologize, the lady said, still snickering as she took a parcel out of her pocket and handed it to him. Thank you, he said coldly. This is her package? Yeah. So tell me, snicker Irika, do you come from Asterisk Snicker Star? Edo, no. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, I just thought you were from IDHO. She laughed. Why would I be from? He understood the joke. Hey, wait a minute, she can be like that. But anyway, I'll tell you more about this item later. First, how did those Quahog foreigners do? Well, first of all, I didn't expect Mr. Griffin to come. Second, well, puke it out. Don't you mean spit it out? I'm drunk. I'd be more entertained if you puked words. I'm not going to. A rip came from Tsunade's shirt, who, obviously drunk, had thrown it open, revealing. Oh my God! Irika screamed, his yell followed by a blarg as vomit came out. She's a ska. At the sight, she reacted the same way with a blargh. Luckily, her puke had put out the fire on the barely alive Neen. What is this on me? Holy blaff. Then it came from the fried man and on his Squirtle. Escually Wordle blaff. And onto Irika. EW poke vomit black. Then to Shizen. This is so horrible. And back to the Neen. My eyes. yet again to the random Squirtle who began having a seizure. Lee. Okay, Irika, Tsunade said, covering herself. Now that that's over with, tell me what happened with that fat man. Peter performed. Flashback. Had him. And children. Graduate. You what? Irika gave a gagging noise as he was kicked in the stomach by Tsunade, who walked away. That time the tiny Pokemon could handle such puking as he grew angry. And his body glowed, and he evolved into Wartortle. As he jumped out the window, the Pokemon theme began to play. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny. 1 hour later. All right, the hallways are cleaned. The courier ninja is being tended to his burns at the hospital, and he'll need a word with you when he's been healed. Shizen came walking into the office with Irika. Both were shaking at what had happened earlier. Tsunade was staring out the windows of hers, an intense expression on her face. She then turned to face the others. Irika, what the hell is the matter with you? You pass on an old, unexperienced ninja training man in 1 day, but his cutaway was any person can do an effing cutaway. You COW. For the 7th time that day, she punched a person in the gut. He doubled over in pain. Ow. But Lady Tsunade, do you not remember? We consider cutaways a genjutsu. He's right. Quiet, Shizen-san. Every single person in a world can just make a cutaway pop up in his or her head. It's all based on ideas. I mean, look at JK. Rolling. Bloody hell. The weather outside is horrible. Late at night, JK. Rolling came into the cafe wearing a hat, trench coat, basic stuff that one with little money had. Hi, could I have a coffee, please? She asked one of the waitresses. After her coffee had been delivered and drunk, the woman held out a hand. Oh. Well, you got any cash on you? No, not really. Well then, until you learn the proper way of paying someone, you can spend the night here drawing on napkins. The waitress said as she slammed down a pile of napkins and walked away. Stupid muggle. Rolling growled as she took out a pen and began doodling. It started out with a boy having a scar and glasses riding a broomstick. Hey, this could be a good children's book about a boy at a wizard school named Harry. Harry, she peeked at a nearby man in the cafe smoking a cigarette and getting high. Harry Potter. Blimey. Oh, really, Tsunade-san? Did JK. Rolling perform a cutaway that everyone in the class saw, even those not listening in, and on a first day of Ninja Academy with no training as a shinobi whatsoever? Or did she just write 7 long books that were poorly turned into films and video games with corny British actors? Well, when you say it like that, I guess she didn't do the first part. And stuff. Exactly. Not one student has ever done something like this before. Shizen said in amazement. What do you think, Tsunade-sama? All attention was turned to the Hokage, who now sober, was staring out her window with a serious expression. After long thoughts, she turned to the others. I'd say that most likely it couldn't have been him in general doing this. Most likely, something powerful a part of him. Lady Tsunade. Shizen breathed. You don't think he is a? I can't be sure, but we have to follow rules. Tsunade said, we just need to do it in a safe, secure way for him and his kids to become genin without having too much pain inflicted on the family. His kids? Irika said, you clearly said his kids were a part of this early graduation? Well, I guess, but Juan must have been drugged back there. I can understand putting him on a team, but that doesn't mean his kids are experienced. Shizen frowned. Well, think about it. Tsunade said, if Peter doesn't have what we think he has, then obviously it could be a trait his kids have. See, Shizen? It's called thinking. I just gotta own. She gasped. Not to be rude, Shizen. Irika said, but $% 3 carat you little slut. I apologize. Well, it's official, Tsunade said. In the morning I will call in the captains of Team 7, 8, and 10 to see if they'll have any room for the Griffins. In the meantime, Irika and I shall play poker while Shizen dances to Carameldenson. But to prove herself as dominant, the Hokage smashed a nearby vase and pointed it at the assistant's neck. Dance, damn you. Music played from Tsunade's boombox, and Shizen was immediately performing the most ridiculous dance. It was early the next morning at the new Griffin's home. Both Meg and Chris were watching TV. The problem was that Konoha had little TV channels to offer, even when they had a cable box. Here the two were sitting on the couch of their living room, waiting for Lois to drop them off at school while they watched the old episodes of Full House. Oh no, Dad's going to kill us if he finds this mess in here. En l'armée de din j gasped. She and her sisters were in the bedroom, staring down at a sock lying in front of them. You're in big trouble, mister, Michelle said, pointing at them. It's just a sock. Stephanie said, couldn't we just, pick it up and put it back in the drawer? Reacting to this, her older sister slapped her across the face. Get a hold of yourself, Steph. We can make it through this. Girls, I'm home, came Danny's voice from downstairs. Quick, Michelle, distract Dad. DJ cried at the 3-year-old, who ran downstairs. Hey, Daddy, you want to see my piercings? Kids, get your bags, we're going to be walking, Lois said as she came in with their lunches. Why walk? Meg asked. Well, I want to try to explore this town a bit more to try and find your dad. I mean, shouldn't have just let him wander in the night for a place he doesn't even know where it's located. I feel as guilty as that time I left him in that crowded fast food place with Johnny, the homicidal maniac. I can't believe the entire place is crowded on a Thursday. I mean, there's nowhere to sit. Hey, maybe that guy there can let us sit with him, Peter pointed out, jerking his head at the goth-looking loner who sat by himself, a bloodthirsty look on his face. Lois looked a bit worried at the thought. Peter, I don't think we should. She had no time to finish her sentence as she was pulled by him towards the table. Hey there. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's pretty full in here. You mind if we sit with you? Name's Johnny. And yes, I would mind if you sat here. Thank you, he said, cheerfully sitting in a chair. Peter, he doesn't want us to sit with him, his wife whispered. Lois, when somebody says yes, it means you can do whatever you want. Hey, what are you guys whispering about? Johnny yelled at the startled couple as he took out a butcher's knife. You know, I hate it when people decide to irritate me. I gotta go to the bathroom, Lois said as she ran off, leaving Peter with the killer. Hey, you have a butcher's knife. Do you work here? Because most people who work here are either hobos or guys with poor lives. And not to be rude, but you look like that kind of guy. Dad always forgives and forgets Mom, especially when drunk. What's that supposed to mean, Chris? Well, I saw him through the window walking away, and he rambled on how he'd go and drink lots of booze. Oh, God. He must be bleeding in the streets somewhere, she said, suddenly panicked. Quick, let's hurry. What if he's dead? Meg sobbed. I'll be the only girl at school without a drunk fat ass of a father. Ugh, my head. As soon as he had awakened, Peter was rubbing onto his aching head. He sat up to see the room he was in. Where am I? Awesome. You're up. Naruto came into the room, tying his headband around the head. Peter stared at him. Oh my God. What? Please tell me we didn't do it. Do what? Oh my God, sheesh. That's disgusting. You perverted old man. Oh, that's good. Now here's another question. Grabbing the closest thing next to him, which was a spoon, he jumped at the boy and slammed him into the wall, the utensil close to his throat. Where the hell am I? You're in my home. Don't you remember what happened last night? Of course I remember. Wise guy. Last night, in Peter's point of view, the scene had its lights filled. The Jackson 5 were on stage. Right in the middle where Michael would be was instead Peter, with a similar afro and a tight, orange outfit. Music began playing from the 5, and they broke out in song. ABC. Peter began horrible singing, causing few of the Jacksons to clutch their ears in pain. Easy as 123. Peter's singing caused their ears to start bleeding. Or simple as Do Re Mi. ABC 123. Baby You and Me Girl. All 4 other Jacksons collapsed, and the curtain closed on them. That never happened at all. Of course it did. How would you know? Because you've been at my house all night destroying the place. I don't think so, Peter said smartly as he threw the spoon aside and made his way over to a window. Where are you going? You'll see, he said, foolishly grabbing the railing and struggling to climb on top of it. Naruto looked confused but terrified of what the fat man was doing. Was he still drunk? Hey, wait. Don't. Peter leaped off of the railing and out of the window. The truth will be revealed. A long squeal came. Eek eek. A surprisingly soft but loud thud was heard. Naruto ran off to the window and looked down. Luckily, he could tell that Peter had landed on someone at the fact that arms and legs were sticking out from under him and flailing around. The young ninja hopped out the window, running down on the walls of the building before he made it to where Peter lay face flat. Robin Williams. Are you all right? What the heck were you trying to do? First off, my name isn't Robin Williams. Second, no, I'm not all right. I should have flown onto another building like a ninja does, so I am mortified. Thank you very much. You're a graduate from the Ninja Academy, and you don't even know how to land? He picked up his head. Well, you know what? It's only been a day since I. Naruto raised an eyebrow as his voice trailed off. He bent down, crossing his arms where they were both at the same eye level. Since you what? Since I graduated. You're kidding, right? Your mom's kidding. I don't have a mom. Seriously? And you get to live home by yourself? He said, looking amazed. Well, that's like Dora the Explorer being able to walk around as an immigrant with no parental guidance but a monkey. Haha, but yes. I graduated from the academy only yesterday. Holy crap. How'd you do it in only one day? Wait a sec, you couldn't have. 'Cause you weren't even able to jump a building. Well, it's sort of a long story how it happened. And that's how it happened. How it happened. How I graduated from the Ninja Academy in one day. You never told me how you graduated. I didn't? No. You just said it was a long story how it happened. And that was it. I did? Yeah. Huh. That's odd. You should have heard the story once I said how long it was. Listen, fatty. It sort of takes more than just saying it's a long story. You have to tell me yourself how it happened. But I hate talky-eyeing. Fine then, don't tell me. He snapped, standing up and turning to leave. Wait. Okay, I'll tell you. And that's how it happened. Wow, Naruto said. His eyes lit up with admiration. That is so cool. I don't even think they count that as an actual graduation, but I love the Dark Knight. Well, what can I say? Peter smirked. I mean, I thought you were just some fat, drunk, pantless hobo when I took you in, but I shouldn't have judged you. The boy looked down for a moment, seeming to feel ashamed. After all, he had been judged so many times before in his life. Hey, I get it tons of times. It's like high school with those snobbish schoolgirls. Several cheerleaders were all gossiping together in high-pitched, obnoxious voices that make you want to put a $% hashtag ING gun in your mouth. That's IT. Boom. That was not the cutaway I had in mind. Peter looked highly disturbed. Why you think she'll be okay? Yeah, I'm sure she's fine. She's an authoress after all. So, basically, I'm used to being judged. So am I, mister? Naruto said, beaming. By the way, you don't have to keep calling me mister. The name's Peter Griffin. He held out a hand. Could you help me up? The ninja grasped the hand firmly. Uzumaki Naruto. Nice to meet you. Uzumaki. Naruto. What? In Japan, last names are said first. Screw that. That's gonna mess up my brain. If I decide to call you with your first name in the beginning, then so help me I will. Despite slightly annoyed, Naruto agreed with this and pulled him up. Okay, Peter. You know, Naruto. Peter said as he began to rise, revealing the human-like cushion underneath. I think this is going to be the start of a good free. Oh my god, Sakura-chan! Naruto suddenly screamed as he was thrown into a wall accidentally, while Naruto ran over to the crater he was once in. Lying in there twitching was a head of messy pink hair and a body dressed in red and white. Sakura! Dear God, Sakura-chan, are you all right? He cried, madly shaking the girl back and forward in his arms. Speak to me, Sakura-chan. Naruto. Oh good, you're okay. He dropped her painfully back into the crater as if nothing had happened and walked back to Peter, who was standing against the wall he had crashed into. Sorry about that, Peter. Narat. Ooh. They both turned back to the kunoichi who was crawling out of the crater. 15 minutes, I've only been stuck underneath for. And I want to kill you. Come on, Peter said. My ass doesn't smell that bad. Shut up, she roared, going berserk as she proceeded to punch the boy in the head harshly, causing him to fall over. You're next. What? As fast as his legs could, Peter sped off with the Fiskopath chasing on after him. Ow! Rubbing his head, Naruto looked up. Wait, Sakura! Don't hurt him! Don't hurt! YOW! A sudden force had hit him, and he was unable to get up. Something heavy and what was on top. Hey, what the dash? Naruto rolled around to see what had crushed him and was dumbfounded at the sight. The body of the authoress, whose half head was soaked in blood. Holy! Meanwhile, Peter, where are you? Lois called out loud through the streets. Her and 2 out of the 3 kids were walking about looking around. Several of the bystanders had given the family no clues of where the husband could be whatsoever. Reaching into her purse, she pulled out an extra 2 copies of Peter's face. Meg, Chris, go around asking anyone where your father could be and report back here in 5 minutes. Mom, that barely gives us enough time to look. Meg complained. Don't worry, Mom. I have a way. Over here, dragon. Coming out from the clouds and swooping down was the large feminine dragon from Shrek, roaring ferociously. She lowered her tail, allowing Chris to grab a hold of it carrying him away as they both vanished into the skies, leaving the girls stupefied. Meanwhile, yet again, back in the inky darkness, the thief walked up to his master where he sat. Well, it looks like there's some good news, bad news, and extra good news. Tell me, none shall be calling you a mix of Michael Jackson / Voldemort anymore, but only Voldemort. You serious? Indeed I am, my lord. Sweet, finally, air. But the bad news is because Michael Jackson has recently passed. The lord stopped cheering and turned to his apprentice with a rather dark look. What? He was found having passed of cardiac arrest some while ago. What? How did Dash? When the hell did this happen? About a couple of months ago. A couple of effing months ago? Yes, well, it's hard for us to get in touch with the world lately when it comes to going incognito. But how could... He just died. The next day, they started having an all-day Michael Jackson video special on MTV. Damn it, Michael. And I wanted to show you my own dance version of Thriller. Air. Before you start doing that dance, which I'm sure we all might have appreciated, there is still extra good news. Well, spit it out then. My mood is already bad enough now that my idol is gone. Not like it'll get any better. What the master had said was that last part was entirely wrong once he heard these extra good news. They have befriended. Despite that it was hard to see the cold, white face of this snake man, a dastardly curling grin popped up. They befriended, you say? Well, Kabuto, this changes my mood for the day, now doesn't it? Indeed, Lord Orochimaru. Kabuto said, sharing the same nasty smirk. Why, and just to think, the man said as he got up and began pacing in circles evilly. It'll only take a matter of time when the rest of our plan is to take a foot. The only problem is that I still haven't been able to fill out the middle part of our plan, but in the end, all those ninja friends, including that Jinchuriki, will be out of the picture. And Sasuke Kuin will have come over to me seeking the power to murder Itachi Uchiha. But how are we supposed to accomplish all of this if we still don't know what to do next? I think I can help you with that tiny part, my good man. Both ninjas turned to the door, which was wide open, revealing the light from outside. The shiny light came pouring in over them, revealing their faces, and the faces of the one who had entered their hideout. Greetings, gentlemen, Stewie Griffin said. Omi pangkat persen anpaker ingkut, Kabuto. Oro screamed out, looking panicked at the 1-year-old. What the hell is that on top? EW, I think it's his head. Kabuto wailed as he began bouncing up and down and waving his hands, as if he was the home state mother and Stewie was the mouse in his kitchen. There's nothing wrong with my head, Stewie said, shielding his forehead. My brain was just stretched out when I was still inside of Lois. That's all. About a year ago, and Peter was handing the boom box to a pregnant Lois. Peter, how is this supposed to help the baby when he comes out? Well, any baby can hear what's going on outside, right? All I have to do is play any child's song, and it'll be born a happy baby. Peter went and pressed play. The CD inside, which was called Disney's Beloved Songs, began playing. It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. It's a world of hopes. It's a world of fear. There's so much that we share that it's time we're aware. It's a small world after all. Inside the uterus in a ball was an unborn Stewie, his head shaped like any normal child. He looked very upset and annoyed, his eyes going bloodshot. Hey, will you keep it down out there? I'm trying to sleep. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. Oh, my head. He cried out, grabbing the side of his head and pulling it apart, causing it to shape like a football. Wait a sec. I remember you, Kabuto said. You're that baby that ran off. Exactly. And I ran off to help you guys. Why? Orochimaru asked. Well, you two would probably think of me as some snot-nosed brat who'd get in the way. Well, I'm much different. I have a proposal for you too. We're listening. Let me in on whatever plan you're making. What? Kabuto snapped. You say that you haven't even filled in the next part. Just let me work with you, and I'll help you out. And what exactly would someone your age want in exchange? Orochimaru asked of him with a smirk. Oh, you know, Stewie said with a light sigh, as if it were no big deal. A little share in world domination, some basic ideas of mine to this hideout of yours, the death of Lois Griffin. What? You want to kill your own mother? The thief said, looking disturbed. So? You're leading in that Sasuke boy and telling him he'll have enough strength to kill his own bloody brother. Yes, but that's a completely different story. Hold on, Kabuto. Let us ponder for a moment. Both huddled up together in the corner from where they couldn't be heard. Lord Orochimaru, you're not considering recruiting this brat? Are you? Now think about it, Kabuto. This is just some poor boy who's offering to help out with us. The snake man said, staring at Stewie with a hungry look. What exactly are you thinking? Well, let's put it like this. This is a boy who can talk, is much younger than Sasuke, used weaponry plus plot, and traveled all the way from Konoha on foot. Imagine what more we could learn about. Compared to an Uchiha's famous Sharingan, we might not need Sasuke-kun. Yeah. Kabuto said the same idea going into his head. They turned back to Stewie. All right, boy. You, me, and Kabuto shall work from this day on to rid of Konoha once and for all. And now we share the maniacal laughter? Stewie asked excitedly. And now we share the maniacal laughter. Both awkward looks were earned to Kabuto's girlish laugh. What? We all have a different maniacal laugh in each and every one of us. ONOZ. Stewie is with Orochimaru. What has he done? Will Peter survive the attack of Sakura? Don't you worry, kiddies. You'll survive till next chap. You will survive. Oh, as long as you know how to love, you both will stay alive. Okay, I'm done singing. Hope I didn't freak you out with that part where I shot myself. I would nevs do that. I just couldn't think of what to say in that cutaway, so I made that happen.